Yeah. What's the word, y'all? This your boy B Morgan, of course. And right now, I'm kicking it with my guy, Young Atlas. You already? Wow.
Some don't believe the joy that it brings. Oh no. But if you look in your heart, then you'll find the spark for the season.
We were talking about work ethic earlier before the interview started, and just the amount of sacrifice it takes just to get to where you're at today. So let's tell the people a little bit about yourself, about your journey. When did you start, making music? How did you see this was your passion and something you wanted to take to the next level?
So I went through like a variation of things first, I guess a kind of finding myself. So it was reggae, it was doing, I guess because I was living in Jamaica at the time, so it was like the thing to do. Into Sanchez, that's like a Jamaican singer, Sanchez, Beres Hammond, stuff like that. Then from there, getting back to the States where I ended up moving to Florida first, Miami, I started picking up rapping. Got into a little local group out there doing my thing, little talent shows, little rapping and stuff for school and so on and so forth. Moving forward, coming to New York, that's another process because, I was around a lot of friends that had they were doing rapping, stuff like that. We had like cords hanging out the ceiling on just like a little computer. And I was the only person out of everybody that, that had some form of vocal skills. So doing that, kind of had the pressure, the attention on me. Everyone wanted a hook. It was kind of moving into that wave of things where everyone wanted kind of like a thing where they wanted to entertain the ladies and, thought it was the coolest thing. So that's where like the whole R&B thing started to really pick up. So like around 2001, I really wrote like my official first R&B record and decided like that's where I was gonna run with it for real, for real.
Got you. And so 2001, where were you at that time?
I was in the Bronx at my grandmother's house. In the basement at a table, sitting down, listening to some instrumental, Sycamore to be exact.
Okay, so you were in the BX, and up until you were around 14, you were in Jamaica.
Yeah. Right.
Got you. So that's a huge transition, and that must add a lot of different character stories to your whole repertoire. Like, what are some differences between just like the music scene and the culture? A couple things that come to mind when you think of Jamaica versus New York.
There's struggle everywhere, right? But I feel like the struggle there is like real. It's a third world country at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? The struggle there is real as dealing with that. And it's not how it's, the capitalism here for music, how it works for the artist is not how it works there, you know what I mean? It's a different, it's just that there's so many talented artists there, you know what I mean? From the DJs, I learned how to start to make a rhythm like that, banging on my chest and creating the rhythm as I you know what I'm saying, as I went along doing my music and, singing, freestyling, making up. So I just feel like it's like kind of like just the struggle between it, I think. I would say that, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like it's kind of like the same thing. It's just that it's a different language. It's broken English. Here it's, it's straight English. I just feel like it's one of those kind of things. So it's easily to be infused if you're bouncing on both sides.
Right.
Honestly.
So there's the struggle, as you said, it's struggle everywhere, but it's more visible out there.
It's more visible there, yeah.
And I can tell you are a hard worker, so did you take that and kind of leverage it, use it as some gasoline to really drive you and say, I'm gonna put it my all into this?
Oh yeah, for sure, because even though, they're, like I said, you got the Beres Hammonds and like the Freddie McGregors and, those are like well-known Jamaican artists, like such as like a Bob Marley and stuff, and singing those kind of records, or even getting to the Buju Bantons and the Bounty Killers and the Beanie Man, stuff like that, it took them, I watched those, I was able to see and witness those growth, you know what I'm saying, and see the trouble that they went through, so in Jamaica, as an artist, you getting a Grammy is major. As opposed to here, it's major if you're getting a Grammy, but it's just on a bigger scale because it's already so hard there, you know what I'm saying, and so much. So it's a driven force to, like, yo, this is where my background is, you know what I'm saying, and I kind of understand and I can relate to it, so it kind of keeps me humble, you know, on that straight path to understand, like, yo, this is what it is, you know.
Right. Yeah, and
I can apply that.
no, for sure. That's an important part of your just as you as a man, because it's kind of a good thing, because now there's so many things that living in America that we kind of just take for granted.
For granted, yep.
You know, and now it's like, yo, just electricity or whatever it might be, just, you know, the things we don't even, you know, just count your blessings. You know?
Yeah.
Keeps you humble. No, that's for sure. And so you're in the Bronx now. You're starting off as 2001. What were you thinking? Like, what was your type of goals and people that you were looking up to that you were like, I want to get to here? What was your kind of blueprint you were putting together at that time?
So at that point, I was still kind of like trying to find myself. Like, I was doing like a sound thing, trying to find like my own sound.
Right.
You know, because you put out a record and you thought it was cool to sound like the person that's singing the record, because you figure, yo, I can sing then if I can sound like that person, you know what I'm saying? And it's really about adapting and building on your own style, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's nothing wrong with like performing the records that, or cover songs or anything, but finessing it with your own style is where it really comes in. So for me, I looked up to a lot of artists, but the problem was for me is just using pieces of those artists to create me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And having a balance. So, you know, you had like Jaheim at the time, you know, the Jagged Edge, which is still to this day one of my favorite groups. R. Kelly, you know, no matter what they want to say about Homeboy, like, he is king. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Until you have somebody that does what, you know, like did what he did, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, it is what it is. But I'm still into like the old school stuff. I was still like implementing that along with like the modern, you know, like the Peabo Brysons and stuff, because I kind of grew up into that household of things. So it was easy for me to like say, let's infuse this. Let's try doing over an old record and just doing it, you know, plus with the likings of like Diddy and stuff, you know, these things, you know, like paying attention and just trying to figure out a different way of doing things. And like I said, adapting your own style, you know, this kind of like evens out with like the people that you look up to as artists,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, if you're taking
models.
pieces from everyone.
It's like seasoning, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, right.
Because you can't recreate the wheel, but naturally you'll form it into
But
your
you'll form,
own
exactly, you know what I mean?
sound. Now that's what's up. What do you, speaking of R. Kelly, because when it comes to music and talent, you can't, no matter what type of character the person has,
Right.
you can't, you know,
Right.
disregard that, right? Like, and what do you think about, this is an interesting conversation, them taking him off of Spotify and things like that. Like, what, because I'll just tell you my point of view. I think if you're listening to music, that's just the music. You know?
Right.
He's not running for president. He's putting music out, you know? So I don't think that's necessarily right,
Right.
but I understand why it could be wrong too. You know? What are your thoughts on that?
It's, for me, it's like, all right, I cannot dislike I cannot like someone. I can dislike someone, right?
Yeah.
But that person, you know, you as an individual, I may not, you know, I may can't tolerate. It's like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But you may just be a talented person. Your talent really don't have to have nothing to do with me liking you as a person. I still have homeboys that are really talented I stepped on and walked away from, and I feel like they're probably still one of the nicest people on earth, hands down.
Yeah.
It really don't stop me from, you know what I'm saying, supporting the talent part of you. You get what I'm saying? I don't got to support you as a person, but the talent part. So for me, for R. Kelly, yeah, you know, it's his legacy at the end of the day. That's all a man have in this world, right? You know, technically, you know what I'm saying, especially in the line of work that we do, you know what I'm saying, or, you know, the business. So it's like, yeah, you kill a man's legacy. That's really what happened, you know what I'm saying? You really put his legacy to sleep. And even with everything like the other speculations, because I can't speak on it and say like, I know that's what happened for real. I wasn't there, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it is or if it, you know, if it ain't. I can just speak of him as a talented, amazing like vocalist that I grew up on and looked up to as, you know, an artist. So for me, it's one of those things. I respect him for his talent regardless.
Right. Yeah. You separate the
Yeah, I separate the two, you know what I'm saying?
making money and success is important, but the more important thing is someone's reputation and what they leave behind. Like that's what we'll always
That's
say.
what I always stand.
So I see you working hard. You're putting out great music. You're doing the shows. You're doing what it takes to get to like where you need to be as
Right.
an artist. When it comes to the legacy you would like to one day leave behind, the journey and the story you're writing now, what are some things you want to be remembered as?
Just being a stand-up person, you know,
Right.
just a stand-up guy, a radical dude, you know what I mean? Humble, you know, and just like, just like, I got a thing of like trying to help. I like to, you know what I'm saying? I like to see other people do, you know what I'm saying? You know, be in good position, you know what I mean?
Right.
Especially for us as black people, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, you know, like, we got to uplift ourselves, you know, each other more, and you know what I mean, make that work better and create a stronger community. Because if you have a chain, you know what I'm saying, a lock on that chain, and everybody is still, you know, we can move forward in so much ways, you know what I'm saying? So I just feel like that's what I'd like, kind of like want to be remembered for as a legacy. You know, the music part of it is good. I would definitely like to be, you know, go down in the books as one of the greatest to do it, writing wise, singing wise, you know, arrangement, whatever it is. But more so, I just like to be a radical dude, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man of integrity.
Right.
Someone that pays it forward.
Pays it
helps-
forward, you know what I'm
helps
saying?
others.
And
No, that's important. And earlier, when we first met, we were discussing that importance of helping each other out.
Right.
And the mindset of, if I help this guy out and he gets to, and he's very successful, that's just good for me, you know,
Yeah.
and like vice versa. But we were saying kind of differences in the cultures. Like Atlanta, there's somewhat more of that. What I
more of
hear.
that, right.
Yeah, let's dive into that a little bit. Like, what do you think are some of those differences? Because New York can be cold and very cutthroat, right? Very
Yeah, it's a
But if you go to other
cool.
cities, it's like, and I'm such a New Yorker, so I go to other cities, my mind is blown.
Right.
Like, whoa, this person just introduced me to someone, and they have nothing to really gain out of that, you know? And everyone here in New York is really more agenda driven, you know what I mean? So I was just trying to see what your take on that was.
I feel like it's just everybody can't be a boss.
Yeah.
And it's not to say like everyone can't be a boss. Yes, you can. It's not to say that you can't be a boss, but everyone has a time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Not
saying?
in that moment.
Not in that moment. You know what I'm saying? In order for you to even create that first boss, everyone has to fall in line, and it usually has to be the person that's more knowledgeable or more prolific to go ahead. You know what I'm saying? To do that. You know, there's a lot of egos and prides mixed up. I feel like as far as for New York, this is my city. I love this city to death. No, that's hands down. You can't never. I feel like you couldn't disrespect this city on my behalf, and I stand there loud. But real is real. You know what I'm saying? It's like we climb on top of each other as opposed to helping each other. It's like a formation. If you stand in line and everyone huddle together and decide like, yo, we're gonna do this, you'd actually be surprised to see how quicker the next man can get on. You get what I'm saying? It's like a chain reaction. You know what I'm saying? It happens. It's a domino effect. So once one gets knocked down, then you're gonna have boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
No, for
and I
sure.
feel like that's just really what it
And
is.
let's just go into an actual example in Atlanta. Like, let's talk about Gucci Mane and like how
Phew.
that all just how exactly what you said, that chain reaction
That's
was,
the man.
was fire, because it was like, all right, Gucci Mane was doing his thing. Then he had the chain reaction with Migos, and now Migos like chain reaction
Young
with Lil
Thug,
Baby.
and
like,
then you got
know.
Waka Flocka. This guy is like,
Right.
yeah. And that's what it is right there, bro. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That type of work, that chain reaction, because it wasn't the, nah, I'm not gonna do this, or I'm just gonna block him. And honestly, if you're an artist, regardless of what, you have your own style.
Yeah.
And that's what, that's what made music fun. And that's what makes it fun. You got a different person. You got an Andre 3000, you got Jay-Z, you got Nas, you got Rick Ross. You know what I'm saying? It's like a different genre, a different style of each people. So it's like, what I'm doing in my lane shouldn't affect you.
Yeah.
What you're doing in your lane shouldn't affect me. What could happen is though, we come together and we cross path, you know what I'm saying? Cross fans.
Yeah.
So I gain some of your fans, you gain some of mine.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But nah,
you have
we
a
don't see it
wider
like
lane.
that. We have a wider lane. They
Yeah.
don't see it like that though.
Right. You know, you took those two Toyotas and you made a Bentley.
And then there you go. You know what I'm saying? Or what else Toyota make? Shoot,
Lexus, right?
Lexus. There you go.
Yeah.
Now you got a Lexus.
That's a fact. We're gonna have to meme that one.
Facts.
That's what's up. And speaking of, you know, New York, right? Like, what we like to do is we interview a lot of guests from New York, who are very familiar with the city, and I like to hear their different takes on. When I say, let's say you're in Cali, right, for a couple of weeks, you're getting those withdrawals from New York, right? Things
Right.
are moving a little slow. You're like, damn, you know, people are having meetings to vibe, like, you know, where's the hustle at? You know,
Right.
shit like that. Like, what are some things that, if you're away for a while, or when you just come back off the plane, or you head back to New York, what are some things that come to mind, like why you love this city, you know? What it represents to you?
Ah, man. The fast pace. It's really true, but it's really true. The saying is really true that, you know what I'm saying, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere in the world. It really is. It's not like, it's a cliche thing to say, yeah, but it really is.
the most
Because,
true cliche.
yeah, it's the most truest cliche. You know what I'm saying? It's like, here, it's so gritty. You get what I'm saying? And it's not just musically, you know what I'm saying? You know, you got politics, you got the industrial, you know, business, you know, corporate America, period. It's a gritty place. And you gotta, you know, it's built, it's basically, you have to be built, pretty much. And if, you know, if you weren't raised this way or born this way, then it's something that you gotta adapt. This will allow that. It'll, you know, it'll teach you to become that type of person, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Whether, it's all up to you though, whether you become a gritty person or you become a person, just a passive aggressive person.
Yeah.
That's about, you know, just about the focus. You know, but I feel like here, when I get back here, it's like I'm back on my point, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
back on game. It's like I was chilling when I was in Cali, where I was wherever, you know what I'm saying? I was laid back because the love, the southern high. When you get back here, it's a wake up call.
Right.
Oh, all right, yeah, it's back to business. Yeah. There ain't no time for sleeping, bro. Let's get to it.
Nah, for sure. I feel like when you're in New York, you just have that 24/7. Like,
Yeah.
All right, there's someone else outworking me at all times.
All the time.
You know,
So you
like-
gotta keep, you gotta keep
And right when
going.
you're like happy for a sec, like, oh shit, I just accomplished this. You just see another cat. Like, just
Yeah,
accomplished
you know what I'm
that,
saying? It's true.
And and that builds a certain person. That builds the guy who's like, I'm a rise to the occasion person.
Competitiveness,
Or
yep.
let me go home type
Yep,
of cat.
yep.
You know? And there's really no gray area. It's like,
It's really not, and it shows you who's really built. You know what I'm saying? Because I done seen a lot of people fold, man. Like, and I mean fold to, you wanna like commit suicide off of music. It's like, whoa, bro. It's not even that serious. But I can understand.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I could kind of relate because I can see the frustration of dealing with certain things and just the experience of it. So you understand it, but then you also have the people that's gonna be like, yeah, I hear you, but I gotta get up. I gotta do this. You know what I'm saying? I still have other people depending on this. Whether I wanna accept it or not, you know what I'm saying? It's just unfair to move that selfish way when you know that there's people there that's like, if people there are riding more than you, bro, you gotta do something. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. That's a really great point, because it's like, you know, what you just said. When you're creating something or trying to do something on your own in New York City, and even if it doesn't succeed, right?
Right.
But you're able to stick with it.
Right.
And maybe some other opportunity presents itself, but you didn't kind of
But
quit
you
on
didn't,
that.
right.
That shows in itself, like, all right, that's a certain type
That's a
of
certain-
cat. Like,
yeah.
that's someone you want to work with.
Yeah, that's
you
someone
know?
you definitely want to work with. It's built. He's just a built. You know, just built different. You know,
Right.
Ford tough.
Right, straight up. Now, when we'll move. We're gonna talk a little bit about the aspect of having a team and the different people around you, right? But before we get into it, I want to talk about what we think of when I think of New York. I think of that scene in Casino. You've seen the movie Casino? With,
I've seen it. Yeah, Joe
and
Pesci.
Robert
Yeah,
De Niro.
definitely. Yeah, I've seen a few of
When,
it.
when they're talking about Pesci, I feel like that's New York. You know?
Fact.
They're like, when they introduce the character, it's like you bring a bat, you know, you better bring a knife the next time.
The next
You better
time,
bring
right.
a gun, because he's gonna keep coming, you know, like that's what a true New Yorker
True
is.
New
to
York,
me,
right.
You know? And that's why if you see a cat in
Harder.
New York and they go to another city, it's like, yo, who is this animal? This guy's a machine, you know?
Yo,
Like,
it is true, bro. Like,
Yeah.
cause you're running through that city because that city is so calm. You know, like to you, that city is calm.
right.
If you leave from New York, go to Baltimore, the Virginias, the DCs, anywhere these places, the Ohios, anywhere these other places, it's to you, it's like you're in country.
Straight up.
Cause it's like, bro, like, what's going on? A club in Baltimore is closing at like 2:00.
Right.
While here in New York, you're leaving the club at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and walk outside and there's a hot dog stand, pizza joint open, this open, and if you really still want to get more liquor in your system, there's a few bars open.
Yeah,
Still,
straight up.
you know, certain places this is not happening. It's locked down. You know what I'm saying? It's so much different like entities to this one place.
No, for sure. It's a different animal. And speaking of the team, right? Because I was speaking with your manager, and
Yeah.
I see you got an educated squad around you, and that's important for artists to understand because a lot of artists get it kind of messed up of what their team is supposed to be. Like they think sometimes, and sometimes it can be right. Like their manager is like their investor or the guy who rolls
Right.
their blunts and a bunch of shit like
Right.
that, you know. But it's about aligning yourself with someone that can help further your career, bring
Right.
some value to it, because this is a business, right? So what are some things that is important to have in a manager? Not just believing in you and all that. That's important, but I'm talking about more on the business side of things. What are some things that you have an artist needs in a manager, you know, in a team?
It depends because, you know, you can have, you know, it depends if the person, if the other individual is more experienced than what you know,
Right.
then it could become a learning process as well. But I feel like you should be kind of like, it's more of like a teamly competition
Right.
with, you know what I'm saying? You should be in that realm with your manager or your team. Why? Because it's like artists get comfortable, throw their legs up, sit back, and think that that's how it works. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they're supposed to just do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And it's like, honestly, if you have a manager, right, and they tend to do certain things like, for example, like you just said, roll your blunt or whatever, or pick you up here, take you here. Those are actually things that's done with love. That's a whole different kind of, you know, that's a different aspect of being a manager and dealing with business. Yeah, it's business, but at the end of the day, you become family. And
Sure.
people take advantage of that. So the advantage where that comes in is that I don't have to do shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not obligated to do, you know what I'm saying, to pick you up, drop you off here, take you. I'm not obligated to do none of that. What I'm obligated to do is manage your career, is to get your career where it needs to be. You understand? And artists get that crossed. You know what I'm saying? Like they kind of like get misguided on that and feel like, yeah, so I have a manager and my manager this, listen, I want to talk to you. For example, like I reached out to some artists. Not say I won't say any name or anything. I reached out, hey, what's up, yo? You know, like, yo, I like what you're doing. Let's, you know, I got some hooks. Let me send something to you. Yeah, I'm gonna have my manager reach out to you. Okay, cool. It's like, for what? I'm still not even gonna tell my manager to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? If your manager wanna holler at me, okay, fine. It's not until it gets that in depth where you're gonna try to draw the line where you're gonna talk about paperwork and stuff. It's like, all right, pause. Now I'm gonna stop you. Fine. If that's where you wanna go, cool. I have somebody now I need you to talk to. People get upset at that and try to go the whole other direction and feel like you're this and you're that of a person. It's like, nah, it has nothing to do with that. But if the moment you drew that line for dealing with business, now we're gonna deal business. There's no more of that. So with your managers and stuff like that, is just having a great understanding with your managers and just having that relationship and knowing that, yo, certain things that they do, if they do it and you feel like it's going above and beyond, it's because out of the support and they actually see more than just you as a dollar sign.
Of course.
And if you have that, you have to be thankful for that. Why? Because honestly, I guarantee you can ask a few managers right now. I got situations with that going on right now. They ain't about that. Like they really not about that. They're more so on some books by the books.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you don't got nothing to really capitalize or do, it's like books sometimes is just like, you know, pretending or presumptuous, if you ask me. You know,
Yeah, you're working with someone for such a
you know what I'm
long
saying?
time. There has to be some type of respect on a friendly
Yeah.
level, you know?
I'm gonna know his family, they're gonna know my family. You
Right.
get what I'm saying? Your manager's gonna walk into that house one of them days like, yo, listen, B, you gotta get up.
Yeah,
Your girl may not even be able to wake you up or some shit, but he will.
yeah.
Listen, we gotta go. Stuff like that is, you know what I'm saying?
So you're taking a journey together.
Right.
For sure. And speaking of, before I get into it, I just wanted to go over what you just said really quickly, because that was really important. When you said you're talking to another artist on a creative level, right? This is not really business per se. This is more
Right.
creating something. And I've seen it so many times where artists will drop the ball and mess up a whole situation when it's not the right time to bring the manager in.
Right.
Like we're talking about hooks and creating
Exactly.
a track, you know? We're not talking about releasing it and the marketing strategy
Yeah.
and all that. Like, and now you just said, let me bring that to my manager. A lot of times an artist or someone in the business, like for me, for example, I might take that as like, you know, that's kind of like you're not taking enough initiative with your career, you know? Like, you don't need, artists need to really understand
Yep.
that there's a place
There's-
for bringing in your manager, but sometimes that will just mess the whole situation up when you could have just, you know, handled
It's
it.
more like, yo, it's just more simple. It's like, yo, there's people that reach out to me and I'm like, yo, all right, cool, yo. I would advise my managers about it to
Right.
let them know, yo, X, Y, and Z reached out to me, such and such. Oh, all right, cool, bet.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with keeping them updated all the time, which is what what you should do, because what happens is, the lack of communication, it's like this happens or something left just happens. And then it's like, but when, everybody, is looking in the clouds like, well, what happened? You get what I'm saying? And it's really like because of the miscommunication there, you know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily like, yo, you don't got to go get your manager to be like, yo, yeah, he wanted to do a track with me. It's like, yo, bro, like, listen, I got a studio. If you willing, let's create some stuff. My manager know about it. Your manager can know about it. If you want to bring him, fine. I'll bring my manager, you know what I'm saying? He'll be there. And that doesn't mean that they're coming just because they're going to come here to sit there and be business. Oh, yeah. So after we finish, we signing these split sheets or we signing these white sheets. Nah, it's like you come. My manager may want to holler at you, talk to you. Yo, man, I like what you're doing. And, build,
Yeah.
network, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
But cats, it's like a facade. You want to paint a whole picture of, I got this going, that going, this doing. And it's like, you feel like that is that's what's gonna make your value go up. Really, people run away from you. Like, they don't really want to deal with you. It's like, bro, please. You know what I'm saying? Like,
For sure.
and
I've done, when doing this, like, I've booked some artists that have, like, big followings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they'll put their manager in it if they're, like,
Right.
figuring out logistics or we want to follow up on some business after, but a lot of time they'll just book it themselves, things
Mm-hmm.
like that. And then I've seen artists that have maybe 75% less of the things that this other artist has done.
Right.
And they'll say, oh yeah, let my manager book this for me. And then everything just goes like, they don't follow up. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like, cause they're trying to put this whole thing on that they're so big.
That-
It's like, big, if you're that big, you don't care about having to
Exactly.
put up that facade. You're just like real.
you just
know?
doing it, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
Exactly.
It's like, and it's like I could tell my guys, yo, X, Y, and Z, and they'll actually take the initiative themselves and go around and they'll probably go and ask some question or find out something about whatever the case may be, and it'll probably come back to me like, yeah, B, such and such is, and I'm like, oh, all right, cool. It's not even something that you asked for, you know what I'm saying? But it's just understanding the system y'all have. Right. So like I said, you're gonna ask me to do a track with you and whatever, and I'm gonna go to them and be like, yo, I came into such and such, and he was like, yo, he hit me up, he DM'd me, and he was like, oh, all right, cool, that's what's up. So what are you trying to do? Right. I'd be like, I'm gonna find out. You know what I'm saying? I see whatever. Yeah. Now, what your manager should actually go do is probably go find that person now and see what's up with that person. Right. Not to go engage with him, but I'm gonna go check him out. I'm gonna scope him out, see what he's dealing with. Yeah, yeah, B, yeah, son seem legit. You seem like he doing this thing, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's still, you know what I'm saying? It's all right. I'm gonna decide like, yo, do I want to give you a hook or do I not? You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's simple, yo. Like, it's so simple, but I think people just like sometimes are just built and born with complexes, man. And just
that pride gets in the way.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things, yo. Like,
for sure. So what are some? Let's go down into get down to what some goals you have for this year. What are some things you and your team are working on that you're trying to achieve for the remainder of 2019?
Right now, rebranding.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the rebranding. We have this new single that we're about to drop, coming out. No date as of yet, but it's real soon. And we're just focused on just like building that establishment. You know what I'm saying? The foundation.
Gotcha.
And it's like I feel like no matter where, as far as for people may look at it from the outside and feel like, oh yeah, he's doing this, and this is happening or that, but realistically, you don't know what's going on the inside. Mm-hmm. And that goes back to what we were just talking about. people will put up like presumptuous shit and like be, you know, a lot of facade, you know, like they paint that picture as if like you're doing this. What I'm saying is like there's a kind of like a difference between painting the picture, making it seem like you're doing so much, but realistically you're really not, and it's just being an honest growth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sure. It's showing, and like people can respect it more. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can feel that, yeah, this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I've had a run at this for a long time, and I've been doing this for a little while. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And
I still don't feel like there was a peak in my career where I felt like, yeah, that was it. Like we about to do it. Mm-hmm. You know, you come back down from that, and it's just you kind of like, it's not you didn't fail. You learned. You know what I'm saying? You know, you fully just got experienced on something. So what happened moving forward is you take the initiative and you take the time to just correlate correctly. Sure. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like that type of process. You know, you're going forward, so you know how to deal with certain people, who not to deal with, who to keep at a hand, you know, at an arm's length. You know what I'm saying? Who to have certain type of conversations with, who to not even waste your time with, and you don't have to. All these things doesn't even have to be in bad fashion. You don't have to disrespect anyone. You don't have to, you know, come off. It's nothing negative. You don't have to be negative about nothing. You can just keep it all straight, and it plays out how it plays out.
Yeah, the real will recognize the real.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
As cliche as that is, but it's just very
it's real.
true.
That's another true cliche.
Yeah. But then when you meet those guys that are actually at that level where they have the facades, you don't even see them.
You don't even see. It's like as you meet these people, you can see right through them.
Yeah.
It's bone, like you see straight through it.
Right.
As opposed to you meeting a real right person that's really actually here, like planting their feet down, doing what they're doing. And the team is very important because that's where, you know, that correlation comes from. You know what I'm saying? Right. People make it seem like they're the ones just doing it dolo. Disney didn't do it by himself. Whatever famous person they want to think of. At the top of it, Warren Buffett didn't do it by himself. You get what I'm saying? Right. It's just understanding it and just knowing what it is.
And when those Buffetts and those players get those big championship rings, the first thing you see them doing is congratulating their team and really like taking the shine off of them.
You see a list of people behind that now, and then now you sit there and you're like, oh, word, I didn't know this, I didn't know that, I didn't know. Like you actually think like one person, one individual is gonna create all of this?
Yeah, exactly.
You may have a brain powered with a lot of ideas and a lot of, you know, good ideas and whatever, but realistically speaking, you still need the extra hands and the people around you with the capacity, that brain capacity as yours, because you're gonna say something and you may feel like, yeah, this is what it is, but you have those people around you to correct it, as opposed to being yes men. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna stand up and be like, yo, nah, I don't feel that way. And even if you have a debate, because I don't call it arguments, you don't have arguments within your team. That's not an argument. You know what I'm saying? You argue with people outside. You know, it's a debate. We may get up and scream at each other, or you may be upset or something. I'll be like, all right, cool. But at the end of the day, it's business, and you have to just suck that up and just balance it out between each other and just know that, yo, listen, at the end of the day, I'm just here for your best interest.
Exactly. And that's the difference. If it's, you know, and that shows if you're having arguments once in a while and whatnot, that's just good, because there's growing pains of like, you know, this is.
It's everything is just clear, right? It's everything is just. It's like a relationship with your girl. If everything is just 100% okay, something is off. And it's like you can't tell me. It's just somebody's doing it. So if you got a team of people working with and nobody has nothing to say, like nobody's ever gonna say no, or because no is what get the debate going. Why are you saying no? Nah, I feel it should go that way. Yeah. Nah, B, I don't think so. Well, then it leads to that. Yeah, well, boom, 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 boom. Nah. Well, and then it goes to that other level. So, you know, then eventually y'all come back to each other and y'all sit down and be like, well, you know what? All right, tell you what. Since you feel this strongly about this, then all right, then fine. Let's see what it's about.
Exactly.
And it's not for you to be like, yo, I told you so if it failed. You get what I'm saying?
It's to come to an understanding.
It's to come to an understanding, like, yo, well, now you understand that this wasn't what it is, right? So can we try our way now? All right, fine.
And that happens again, you nipped it in the butt.
We nip right, you know what I'm saying? You clip it, you know what I'm saying, and keep it going. You sit there salty and petty, man, like it breaks. That shit kills.
It's corrosive.
Man, listen.
Yeah. especially in this business where if you're a creative like you are, and you gotta be clear at all times, or you're not thinking right. Like you gotta be on your game. So
right at all times.
Because having the right team around you can be a blessing, and that can help you get to the next level. But having a team around you that's negative is the opposite. It can just
it could just bring you down.
Right. You're not as motivated. So
Yeah.
that's great. And you're obviously intelligent. You're business savvy. So outside of just the music and putting out, rebranding, building that foundation, like, are there some other things in the industry you're interested in also achieving? Like,
I'd like to step into a little acting.
Okay.
Yeah, I step into a little acting. Writing and stuff like that, I do already. Ghostwriting and stuff.
Right.
I probably want to step into a little more production as well.
Gotcha.
Doing a little more producing, and eventually, as my career goes on, as it advances and go forward. Probably a little down the line, I may want to do like executive work, maybe. You know what I'm saying, like some behind the scenes kind of thing.
For sure.
But that's all comes with, like the moving forward and the growth.
Right.
Really, you know what I mean. So we'll see.
No, that's dope. So you got a lot going on, but you're really working on rebranding, because I really like your music.
Thanks, man.
I think B Morgan, you're a superstar, and I want to start closing up a little bit, but we want to talk about some gems. Because I want to talk a little bit about ghostwriting and
Right.
a little bit about just some artistry, right? First off, what are some tips you give to some people trying to start off in getting into ghostwriting? Because people don't realize someone like who has your amount of talent, that's an entity, not just in making your own music, but helping other people.
Helping other people.
Like even consulting on a track or something like that,
So it's just like basketball, baseball, stuff like that. It's like not everything is for everyone.
Yeah.
So it's really like a calling. It's more of like a talent that it's God given. You know what I mean? And if you're gonna become a writer, and not to say that you can't learn how to write, you can learn how to sing. You know what I'm saying? You may not have the smoothest voice, but singing does not go off of how smooth your voice is. You know what I'm saying? It's really about how you can actually deliver a melody and a note, and having not being tone deaf. So writing, it's comprehension. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's part intellect and it's part reality. It's what you're feeling. So it's you summing it all up and creating basically what you feel inside. People can write like the ABC things, the cat in the hat kind of thing. And then you have people that's really in depth that can make words, like you can use words to build a whole movie set. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that comes with just experience and you sitting down and like paying attention to the other greats, the other writers. You know what I'm saying? And you go to these panels. People don't understand, like, these panels are actually important. I went to a lot of them when I was starting out and stuff like that. You must go to these panels, like, because these are where you learn, they'll tell you how to work words. You know what I'm saying? How to play with words, how this word play, how to rhyme with the beginning of a word and rhyme it at the end of a sentence with that same beginning. You get what I'm saying? Of that word. You get what I'm saying? It's just different elements to it. So it's just how often you do it, studying the craft of it, and a lot of reading.
Yeah.
A lot of reading plays into that. Why? Because it expands your vocabulary. You know what I'm saying? It's giving you words now. So you may read a book today and came across a few words that you're like, whoa, I didn't even know what that is. So you jump on your Google, looking the definition up, and you find, oh wow, dang, that meant this. So simple, but whatever. Here it is that you just wrote a song. You probably either titled that record that specific word and wrote a whole record based on that, or you may use that in some form of metaphoric way, or punchline or something. It's just as you go on, the more you learn, you read, you adapt, you sit around people that's doing that writes. You know what I'm saying? You could sit in jam sessions and just sit there and just learn. people feel like you write a one or two, you start writing a little few things, and it's like, so you crumple it up and you throw it out. Nah, you save those, yo. Because you could go back to that, dissect it, take piece from there, and put it. Same thing, something like what we were talking about with the whole Whitney thing before we came live. Like, you know, she recording, it's just that she's recording like 89 times and then she's splicing it. But it's like you can write a half of a book. And then within that half of a book, you may feel like this one song you just wrote, I don't like it. This song that you wrote, but this next song that you wrote, you can actually go back and be like, I could take half of this verse and put on this record.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And then twist, intertwine, do what you do. It's kind of like, you know.
It's like digging for oil.
Yeah, it's just all about learning,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
gotta
saying?
keep,
And
like,
studying it.
Keep doing it. Like anything in life, repetition, consistency is key.
Very much so.
And using, also in life, like using those negatives and turning those
Into positives.
Yeah, like, all right,
Yeah, for
now
sure.
I can use something of that I crumpled up. Let me go get that out the trash can.
The best thing is to do when you're writing, though, honestly, it's like, especially if you're gonna write for other people, it's kind of hard. I have artists, friends that I know that can write a ton of music for other people, but can't write for themselves.
Right.
And for me, I've never actually really had that issue. You know, I can like tunnel that. I can write for other people and write for myself, you know, very well. So, but it was just, I never understood it till I heard like other celebrities coming out with that, saying like that's, and I'm like, oh wow, that's kind of interesting, because you can put yourself in someone else's shoe, have them relate, but you can't really write on your, you know what I'm saying, your actual problems or your whatever it is that that you reflect off of for yourself. And I kind of thought that was kind of interesting. But I think what it is people are just scared to touch on themselves when it comes to certain topics.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a psychology.
Yeah, that's what it really is. I feel like you think that you can write about someone else. Let's for example, someone else being a crackhead. If you were a crackhead, you channel that talking about this particular person. Realistically, you're speaking about yourself as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You just don't know that, but you fool yourself. Psychology, you know, it's like you tell yourself that, yeah, I wrote this record for that person. But if you actually sit there and listen to the record, you may start to reflect like, wow, oh, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you mirrored yourself, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like,
There's someone that, like, you know, there's tons of people, like, it's easier to give advice than to, like, actually use that advice.
Use that advice for yourself. You know, you got someone that's always trying to fix everything, trying to be the fixer, help everyone, but they're breaking down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're falling apart. It's kind of like one of those kind of things, like, you know?
Nah, that makes a lot of sense. In terms of yours, let's switch gears a little bit in terms of more the singing and making the music side. What's your process like? Like, how do you formulate a track when you're, or is it different case by case? Do you have like a kind of routine down, you know?
It varies, because sometimes you're going to the studio, my producer will sit down and he'll just like, just make something right on the spot. Or it could be just vibing. It could be the least little things. We could be listening to a commercial, you know what I'm saying? And we'll just catch an idea. And we could create something right there on the spot. And then there's times where you come into the studio and it's like, I know, you know, I'm already premeditated on what it is like, so we're gonna do this. So, you know, you sit down, whether you're gonna have a drink, you're gonna chill, kick it, y'all talk shit for a little bit, and then, you know, y'all just put it together. It's like really, it just all depends on the mood. You know what I'm saying? Some people has different, you know, different ways they go about stuff. You got people that gotta go in the booth, strip out their clothes. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people have to take off their shoes.
Right.
It's so many different, like, you know, ways. But, you know, for me, it's more so just having good vibe around me, man. And, just being, I guess, I feel like I'm free majority of the time, you know what I'm saying? Like, loose and, like, you know, so it's really.
Go with the flow.
Yeah.
And that's interesting what you said, because I was listening to this podcast and I think they were talking about Travis Scott, and someone from Interscope was talking about how they were like, yo, let's just put a bunch of producers and these artists that work with these producers, just have them live together for a couple of months. So when that magic happens, it's right there. And
It's right there.
So all those moments that people miss, it's like they capitalized on all those. Like,
That
we're
right
chilling
there.
and playing Fortnite. It's like, oh shit, yo, let's drop it right now.
Let's drop it right now.
Like Dr. Dre did it when they were all living in Calabasas back in the day.
Back in the
together.
days, yep.
And they'd be partying for 2 days, and then they'd have an idea for a song, and boom, let's drop that right now.
It's funny because Pac said one of the actually the realest thing I've actually, you know, like heard. And it was like some like old video of him going around on the internet, on the media, social media, and it's like he's saying like, yo, especially if there's so many of us in here, bro, like listen, let's record, let's just lay these vocals. He's like, forget the mixing and all that right now. Let's just lay these vocals. He's like, this dude came up with a hook, fine. Yo, jump in the booth, go lay that hook. Or at least if you feel like you want to do it, if you don't want to do it, at least make sure the hook is written down so I can take it from you then and run back in the booth and do it. Yeah, after all that, y'all knock out 4, 5, 6, 7 songs or whatever. After y'all leave, he's like, yo, the dudes that want to chill, smoke, and just be in the studio all day, just chilling, lounging, leave it to them to do the finishing touches.
Right, right.
All right, I'm done. I did the hard part. I laid my vocals. I did my ad libs. I did the main part. If Son says, yo, that record, yo, bro, we should name that record King. Whoa, let's name it King then. Yo, so put that as King 1, King Rough. All right, yo, I'll see y'all later. Yo, I'll pull up on you tomorrow, next week, whatever, or send me the tracks when they finish mixing, or let me hear. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's just an effect that a lot of people don't carry right now and have that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's many half songs that I have like undone. Like, it's not really half songs, but they're just either not mixed or like 1 or 2 little stuff left to be putting on them, because it's like we'll just blow through a few songs that fast, you know what I'm saying, and then just pack them up and just be like, yo, all right, so we can just go back to the drawing board and just revisit those records and just tighten them up when we need them and push them out.
Right. You never know when you're gonna need those.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then there's the songs there where you finish right on spot. You know what I'm saying? There's stuff that you just kill right on spot. So it's all about the vibe that you're going. You shouldn't force anything. Especially if you have your own studio where it's at your leisure, you should never force it.
Yeah.
Because that's why it's kind of like bad for when people have to pay for studio time. That's where that real expense come in. Because not all artists are, and I don't think all artists, none, if you ask me, just goes into the studio 24/7 to just bang out records.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you ask these guys for these studio bills, I'm sure these bills are like way over the top. You know what I'm saying? But when you have a studio that you can sit there and actually take the advantage of to build, you can lay something, go back, come back and revisit it to lay, you know what I'm saying, to finish it up, because you may feel like this is not what it is right now. So, you know, it's like a back and forth thing, and you just make it work, yo. Having your own studio and stuff like that, or having an engineer or having someone to share a studio with you or do something is like prime. It's like, take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Because people don't understand how hard that is to get until you need it.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, so you take advantage of that, like, and utilize it to your full extent, man. Like, it is what it is. Take your time. Take as long as you want to make your record, bro. It don't matter.
Nah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Tell us about some tracks that are out now where people can find you.
So yeah, at IMB Morgan on everything. Yeah, it's just that easy. On every all social media platform, and once you get to my social medias, you'll be introduced to all the music you want to hear. You got SoundCloud, YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify.
I love that Who Do You Love track.
Thank you.
This Friday we're gonna drop that.
Dope.
And my last question for you is, can you explain this goat that's on your Instagram page?
The goat?
Yeah, are you the goat?
Nah. So it's actually a lamb. Well, it is of course goat family, but that's actually gearing up for the new single that we're about to drop.
Okay.
Called Lamb.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I'm sure that's gonna cause a lot of a little controversy and stuff like that, because the goat, the whole goat face, body. But it's cool, I mean,
cool.
you gotta have a little, it's alright to have a little fun, you know.
Keeps the people on their toes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's cool to have a little fun, you know. I mean, hey, listen, you just gotta know they gotta come equipped.
Yeah. And last question we like to ask our fellow New Yorkers is, if you have, and this is fun, right? Like, I asked this to one person, and they were like, I'd give it to charity and help out kids, and I felt bad. But if I give you 10 grand to have fun with, like on yourself, your crew,
Yeah.
go shopping, what would you do in New York City? Like, how would you spend that bread? You got one day to blow this bag.
Yeah. I would just, you know, with all the hard work, like me, like for me, I mean, I got a free $10,000, and it's for me to just have fun. Like my team put in, you know, I feel like hard work. I feel like it's between them and just we just gonna have fun. Me, the team, and the family. I feel like that's the best way to blow that 10 grand if I'm gonna blow it in, you know, in a fun way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We all over the city, you know what I'm saying? Let's hit the mall, you know what I'm saying? Let's go do this, let's go. After I could do something with the family early, and then I could get up with the team and go get drinks. We might blow half that shit on guzzling, bro. You know what I'm saying?
What are some spots you might hit that night for some drinks, you know? Some cool New York spots.
Some
like
cool
that.
New York spots? Shoot. Bro, I'm trying to think, man, because I usually don't just go out just to have drinks. Like, I swear that's like a not normal thing. It's like, we'll end up in front of the building.
Right.
Just chilling, you know what I'm saying? Just, and not even to be on no, like, you know what I'm saying? Just like being on no gangster shit, you know? It's just like, you know, just having a,
Just chilling.
just chilling, you know what I'm saying?
Because it's nicer.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But honestly, bro, I'm a sucker for BBQs, Dallas BBQs, the Bulldogs and shit. So like, I go get one of those the big old Bulldogs, you know what I'm saying, and put a Corona in it.
Yeah.
You feel me?
I put two in them. Yeah.
Put two in it, you know what I'm saying? Double up on the Corona, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like, so.
That's what's up. It seems like, you know, you got a great head on your shoulders. You're doing some great things. Young Atlas definitely wants to work with you, do some shows, events.
Sure, man. Thank you.
You onto some great stuff. So if you have any more shout outs or anything else you want to do.
Shout out to real troublemakers. Shout out to Hood Media, Red Coat, Fat Fingers. Shout out to the whole Heavy Hitter squad. Shout out to Chubby Chub. And yeah, man.
B. Morgan, thank you for sitting down with us.
Oh, shout out to you. Shout out to yourself for having me here today as well. Shout out to Young Atlas. You understand? That's a fact. Bow.
Appreciate it.